I would say welcome to the Akos right here on Voice of the Native. My name is Adufo Champon. You can call me Adian Boss. If you hear me, please subscribe to the channel, like it, and then share for others too. So enjoy the programs that we do over here. If you can read, and if you've read books about Nkrumah from right-thinking people, and yet those haters that wrote rubbish about him, because we are in a country Yakasa Mahama was down with Dubai, which turned out to be total lies. So there are people who wrote rubbish about Nkrumah, which are total lies. If you've had the opportunity to read books from right-thinking individuals, Ghanaians who wrote proper documents about Nkrumah, you would appreciate the man we're talking about. He was voted the man of the millennium. Like I said, millennium. It's just 1,000 years above people like Nelson Mandela, Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. This is the man we are talking about, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And so, if you are still keeping the hate that was instilled in you by some jealous parents or grandparents, after you've acquired all this knowledge and you can read and understand by yourself, then I think it's problematic and you would need to check your mental health because it can lead you to hypertension.
Recognize that true freedom could only be achieved through political action and the mobilization of the masses. They worked tirelessly to educate and inspire the people, organizing rallies and meetings to raise awareness about the need for independence. Their message resonated with Ghanaians from all walks of life, sparking a movement that would eventually lead to the liberation of our nation, encompassing the birth of the Convention People's Party, CPP, which led us on the final lap of our journey to freedom. Tomorrow, as we commemorate these historical milestones, we pay tribute to successive generations of Ghanaians who contributed to the attainment of our national independence. It is most appropriate that we have chosen this date to honor their sacrifices, their resilience, and their strong dedication to the ideals of freedom and justice. I speak to you this evening, rejecting completely the notion that Ghana was founded by one man. Whilst Kwame Nkrumah's contributions to our independence are undeniable and unassailable, it is important to acknowledge for our self-respect that the struggle for our nation's freedom was a collective effort spanning several generations. The formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, the British West African National Congress, jointly sponsored by Joseph Casely Hayford and Thomas Hatton Mills, the United Gold Coast Convention, the work of countless unsung heroes, and the tenacious spirit of our people all played vital parts in bringing us to freedom and independence. Kwame Nkrumah, with his charismatic visionary leadership, was undoubtedly a major actor in the final lap of our journey to independence. And that is why, despite the several unfortunate things that happened after independence under his watch, Parliament in 2019 decided to memorialize his date of birth as Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day, the only Ghanaian so far to be so honored in our history.
It is a normal human process to disagree with people. A normal, nipa, but when you are addressing this disagreement, it shouldn't lead to war. You become very irresponsible when you get angry over you not agreeing with something very obvious. Adibu is very obvious. There's a one tiase and I say if you disagree with it, you shouldn't be angry. In a statement where the president of the Republic of Ghana disagreeing with majority of the population of Ghanaians about why Nkrumah is not the founder of Ghana, just look at his facial expression. Like in that statement he was giving, say he disagree with majority of the population of Ghanaians, say Nkrumah is not the founder of Ghana. Look at his facial expression, how angry he was addressing his people. The president is mad that overwhelming majority of the population of Ghanaians believes Nkrumah is the founder of this nation. And for that matter, they give the due credit to Dr. Nkrumah. Sadi we nama president Ibofu. So on Tiasie, say majority of the population of Ghanaians say Nkrumah and the founder of the country. And so he's mad. The reason is say nipa baako pɛ and pay independence. It is a collective effort of a lot of people. Per the logic of the president, then it means that we are so be especially when it comes to independence of countries. Then one person cannot be single-handedly named as a founder of a country because let me give you an example. We've all heard about Yasantwa War. Does it mean that Yasantwa single-handedly fought the war? Yasantwa may have been the leader of the war, but it doesn't mean Yasantwa fought the war all by herself. Many leaders in history won wars they were never even a part of physically. Nelson Mandela had spent over 20 years in prison. 20 years now of the prison. The ordinary South Africans were on the street fighting the apartheid. They fought for over 20 years. That was the period that Nelson Mandela was released from prison. Then he just led those who were already in the war to final victory. But and the independence of South Africa, when you common knowledge. You see, the amount of bitterness the president and his people have for Nkrumah, the man of the millennium, it is so disgracing in the eyes of the world. In any case, who are those the president seek to add up? Does he intend bringing JB Danquah to the news? Because when who say people are talking about JB Danquah, I'm gonna say the president is this bitter because JB Danquah's name is not mentioned whenever we talk about founders of the country. And for that matter, Nkrumah didn't hear on Tiasie. And if this is true, where from this logic of double standard? Because people are campaigning their hairs out. Say Mahama had nothing to do with the implementation of free SHS because Mahama say na penso he implemented something he calls free progressive SHS. And it is not true because he campaigned against free SHS. And in fact, they talk about 22 different campaigns Muhammad did against free SHS. And so he can't say that he had something to do with free SHS. Even though, as a matter of fact, free SHS is in our constitution. A constitution that the NPP boycotted when it was being written. But these same people will come and tell us that JB Danquah is a founder of Ghana. A man who campaigned that Ghana should vote no to independence, and for that matter, we should still remain under colonial rules. Papa Wejitum a year campaign say, Yanto Aba say, you bet that's why he slaves ama Britain for. And then you are trying to add him up to the founders of this nation. For whatever selfish reasons he had, he campaigned that we should vote no to independence. Independence, this man wrote letters to the Queen of England, telling her about how Nkrumah want to destabilize her rule here in Ghana. That time, it was Gold Coast. Papa we tenase trokrata koma Bruni say Kwame Nkrumah tenase ene omanfo no obopo say ompese omje independence. Inti say ohema no emene ni Nkrumah ho say denyo. He wrote letters to the Queen, and this is the man you want to add up to the founders of this state. Is it because he is your family?
I am telling us, as I remember the Osagie for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, that now, as you turn in your grave, if you had been alive, you'd possibly be 107 years today. But your people, some of them, in their lack of wisdom, chose to remove you from power. I apologize on their behalf.
They say JB Danquah gave us the name Ghana. It is a lie. It has never been recorded in any authentic history book. In fact, it has never been recorded in no book. Even if he proposed a name, the name we've all heard he proposed was Akan land. Yemfre Ghana nyina Akan land. He proposed that Ghana would be called Akan land. A can with different ethnic background. Yemfa one ethnic background into Omaini Naso. And you are saying he's the founder of the nation. You see, one funny thing, the president said this about Nkrumah in his video. He said, despite the several unfortunate things that happened after independence under the watch of Nkrumah, his date of birth has been memorized by the Parliament of Ghana.
Despite the several unfortunate things that happened after independence under his watch, Parliament in 2019 decided to memorialize his date of birth as Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day, the only Ghanaian so far to be so honored in our history.
Seriously, I think the president is being petty. He said Nkrumah had done some unfortunate things under his watch, but he just said it without giving examples of the unfortunate things that he did. He didn't address it. The thing is, if you can't address it, don't mention it. When you do that, it becomes a defamation of character. And the president knew it. He did it. And this is the reason why we are saying he's bitter about Nkrumah.
Someone should pick a phone right now, go on to Google and search for Kwame Nkrumah demonstration. If not today, I didn't know there were more than 10 key members that led the Kwame Nkrumah demonstration. But anytime you mention Kwame Nkrumah demonstration, Akufo Addo name comes up. That demonstration is considered to be one of the biggest ever organized in Ghana with over 100,000 people. Kwesi Pratt, Reku Brobe and Co were leading members of that demonstration. But anytime that demonstration is mentioned, they credit it to Nana Akufo Addo, and he brags about it. I believe it's even in his CV. Is Nana Akufo Addo a last born? Those of you who know him, is he a last born? That man is too petty. You have fought this issue of Kwame Nkrumah since you became president in 2016. To the extent that you even had to erase the 2 cedis note from circulation. I believe it was this hatred for Kwame Nkrumah that made you to take away that note. And you are trying so hard to take away what belongs to the man. You are fighting a ghost. Why are you fighting Nkrumah, Mr. President? Today, as I said, Kwame Nkrumah, when they mention you and Kwame Nkrumah are synonymous, and you take those accolades. Why are you taking accolades for? You didn't even organize that program. I heard you were made to speak that day. But some of the pictures, you are in the lead together with other prominent people in Ghana, but all credits were given to you. Why haven't you rejected those credits? You have enjoyed it over the years. You don't want Kwame Nkrumah to enjoy. We all learned about what happened prior to independence and the role each people played. Please, you can't rewrite history, Mr. President. We don't care whether you're a last born or not. Look at the hate with which you were talking. You are addressing Ghana on Founders Day or concerning Founders Day. And instead of you to eulogize Kwame Nkrumah, you are there saying, I reject completely. You can't even hide your feelings, Kakrampo, Mr. President. You can't hide your feelings. And then, it's too much. Go back to apartheid. For how many years did South Africans fight apartheid? Nelson Mandela was not the only person that led apartheid. Nelson Mandela was in prison for over 20 years, and still the apartheid was going on. The fight for freedom continued. So many people died, but at the end of the day, when you mention apartheid, it is Nelson Mandela that comes out. And Nelson Mandela, if he's alive today, would never say that it was his sole effort that won them independence or won the fight against apartheid. Why are you doing this? If you want, change everything. You have some few months to leave office. When you leave, we'll change it back. Nkrumah deserves what he deserves. Pray that we don't erase you as a president of Ghana. The hate is too much and it's so obvious. Mr. Petty President, good afternoon.
Before we leave, of course, Nkrumah couldn't have done this all by himself. Nkrumah no nkwa nipa ba ko ntimi nje independence ma ye. No correct. Nkofo bi kan ho no je independence no. But if someone should address this, it shouldn't be coming from some bomb-throwing people who never wanted independence for the country at the first place, all because of their selfish interest. It wasn't them who was leading the crusade.
My name is Major Gordon Amenya, retired. And when Nkrumah came and commissioned us at Military Academy, and we went for social gathering, we heard that somebody was knocking the table, pang, 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 pang. Then the room became quiet. And then he gave a short speech. And what I gathered from that speech was that I have commissioned you, these officers, to defend Ghana and defend me, Nkrumah. If you fail to defend me, Ghana will suffer in future. And it's true. Today we are suffering. That speech in 1963 has come true. The opponent wished they had led the independence, but they couldn't do it. So they developed sheer deep hatred to destroy everything that Nkrumah did. And they are still destroying. They want to wipe up Nkrumah's name, but they can't do it because we are alive and we shall train our children and children's children and generations.
You can choose to dislike Nkrumah for how long, for how much. You can indoctrinate your families about whatever Nkrumah did to you. But the real character Nkrumah can never be corrupted by corrupted individuals. Nkrumah never dies.